Okay, so in this session we'll discuss about inheritance in object-oriented programming. So what is inheritance? Inheritance
Child
means
class
Inheritance
acquiring
is
subclass acquiring the properties or features of the superclass. So where the subclass uses, what do we have in class? What can you find in a class?
methods and methods.
Methods and attributes, right?
attributes.
So here, if you see class A contains method 1, method 2, attribute 1 and attribute 2. Now,
Yes, yes.
So private means
uh, private M2 is a private method. M2 is a private method. M1 is public method. Attribute 1 is public and attribute 2 is private. Okay, let's assume. Now, class B is the subclass. Class B is the, we added class B as the subclass to superclass A. Now observe, what are the methods and attributes are available in subclass? Method 1 and attribute 1. Why method 2 and attribute 2 are not available here?
Those are private.
Private.
Because in superclass, those we defined as
Private.
private attributes and private methods. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here class A is the superclass and class B is the subclass. In subclass, you have classes from private or protected methods from class A and methods which we defined in class B. So if you see here, one superclass contains one subclass. What do we call this inheritance?
Single level.
Single
Single.
inheritance. There are four types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. Now, so here one superclass contains only one subclass. That is single inheritance. What is multi-level inheritance? In multi-level inheritance, we have one superclass with another subclass, and in the next level, that subclass acts as superclass. Here, class B is acting as superclass to class C,
Class.
right? Here, class B is the superclass and class C is the subclass. For class A, what is the subclass?
Class B.
Class B.
Class B.
For class B, what is the subclass?
Class C.
Class C.
Class C.
Class.
For class C, class B is the superclass. For class B, class A is the superclass. This is called multi-level inheritance. If you observe here, class A contains two methods, method 1 and method 2. Method 2 is a private method, attribute 1 and attribute 2. Attribute 2 is a private attribute. Now, class B is accessing class A. So we added class A as a superclass to class B. Now we have M1 from class A and attribute 1 from class A, and M3 M4 are methods of the class B. It's like M3 and M4 are class B own methods. Attribute 3 is class B own attribute. In the next level, we are using class B as a superclass to class C. Now in class B, all are public methods and public attributes. There is no private method and private attribute. When class C is accessing class B as superclass, right? What are the methods available? Methods from class A and methods from class B. Both will be available in next level subclass, class C, right? So what does class C contains? Methods of class A and
Method
methods of
class.
class B,
Class B.
and attributes of class A and attributes of class B. Public are protected attributes. Public are protected attributes. Private attributes cannot be accessible.
Yes.
Here class A is the base class for class B, and class B is the base class for class C, right? So this is called multi-level inheritance. So you can create one more subclass for class C. Now class C acts as a superclass to class D. Then whatever the methods available in class A, B, C will be available in class D.
Class D.
You can reuse those methods in class D. Okay. So what is inheritance? Inheritance is the acquiring properties of superclass into subclass. Property is nothing but methods and attributes. You can reuse without creating again and again the same functionality. You can reuse in subclass. Along with reusing, you can extend the functionality. What do you mean by extend? For example, in class A, in class B, you are using class A method M1. So there is some functionality in M1. In class B, using M1 functionality, along with that you can add some additional functionality to the M1. Okay? And you are not disturbing the original class M1 method, but you are adding some additional functionality to M1 in subclass. Okay? That one we call as redefining. We'll see that. So by using redefining, we can we can add additional functionality to the superclass method. Okay. So what is the next inheritance? Multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. What is multiple inheritance? One subclass contains two superclasses. One subclass contains two superclasses. So this is not possible. This is not available in SAP ABAP. Okay. So one subclass cannot have two superclasses. Okay. So this is not possible in in ABAP. Multiple inheritance is not possible. We cannot add two superclasses to one subclass. That is not possible. Okay. There is one simple logic. Can we create two methods with the same name in the same class?
No.
No, sir.
Can we create same name? Can we use same name for two methods? No, right? It won't allow. For example, you are trying to implement multiple inheritance. Class A contains method 1, method 2. Class B also contains method 1, right? Same method, same name. Class B also contains same method name, M1. When you try to access these two superclasses in one subclass, what will happen? These methods will be added to the subclass, right? Methods from class A and methods from class B will be added to class C. When methods from both classes are added to class C, so here also we have one method name called M1, and in class B also we have one method name called M1. It is not possible, right, to use two methods with the same name.
Listen.
Yes, sir.
So that is the other reason why multiple inheritance is not possible. It won't accept like two methods with the same name in subclass, right? So there is an alternative. There is an alternative for multiple inheritance that is called interfaces. We can use interfaces concept to use the inheritance concept. Okay. So we'll see inheritance in the next session. How we can sorry we, how we can use interfaces so to like replace multiple inheritance. Okay, because interfaces nothing but classes like interface is a kind of class which contains methods without any implementation. Okay, interface contains methods without any implementation. What are you doing when you are creating a class? You are providing a method name and you are implementing the method, right, by writing some code.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But what will happen in interfaces? So in interfaces you will
Something without
create the methods,
without implement.
but you are not going to implement them. You will provide importing parameters and some changing parameters, and you are not going to implement them. Where you are going to implement these methods? In other class. In other class, you are going to implement these methods. We'll see that in the next session. So what is the alternative for multiple inheritance?
Interfaces.
Interface.
Interfaces.
Interface. Interface.
Interfaces. What is the interface?
Interface contain method without
Multiple
implement.
interfaces is
Interface
one class.
contains methods without any implementation. Where we can implement these interface methods?
Other classes.
By adding this interface to any class, we can implement the methods of the interface. Okay. So this is about multiple inheritance. What is hierarchical inheritance? What is hierarchical inheritance? Multiple levels of subclasses. Here observe, we have class A that contains methods M1, M2 and M3, attribute 1 and attribute 2. So one superclass contains two subclasses. So superclass A is being used in class B and class C. So whatever the methods available in superclass will be available in class B and class C. Now here we have two subclasses for one superclass, and in the next level class B it acts as a superclass, and this superclass contains two more subclasses. For class C it contains two subclasses, class D and class E. Now when you are inheriting class C in class D, observe what are the methods available in class D. You will be having methods of class A, class C. In class C also, you will be having methods of class A and class C. Will be available in class D and class C. In the next level, class D can contain next level subclasses. Similarly, you can create different levels of subclasses. This is called hierarchical inheritance, tree-like format. One parent contains multiple childs. One parent class contains multiple child classes. And in the next level, each child class contains different levels of subclasses, right? But in multiple inheritance, one subclass contains two superclasses. That is not possible. One child, two parents. That is not possible. But in hierarchical inheritance, one parent, multiple child classes. Right? This is hierarchical inheritance. You can reuse whatever the superclasses for D. For D, what are the superclasses? Class A and class C. But here, like when we are defining the name, class C is the superclass for class D. But what are the actual superclasses for class D? Class A and class C. Whatever the methods or attributes available in class A and class C will be available in class D. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Amma.
So just create two three levels of methods and understand. Okay.
Yes.
Let's create one class using inheritance. Okay, what is the transaction code to create the class?
SC24.
Now let's create one super class first. So class or interface, we are trying to create a class. So this is the interface concept, what I've just explained you. Interface contains methods without any implementation. Provide the class description. Now, to use superclass in subclasses, can we use final checkbox?
Yes, sir.
No.
Can we use?
No.
Enable.
If you use final, then it is not for inheritance. You cannot inherit the superclass in subclasses. Okay? You cannot inherit. Okay? Save it. Usually we save it in the package, but for now save it in the local. Define some attributes. For example, some I'm saying that global attribute, and we defines a variable. Okay, variable kind of value. Level instance attribute. Visibility, I'll take it as public or protected also you can take for subclasses. Associated type provide the data element. GAS, this is for structure, work area kind of values. I'll take like this Mara instance attribute. Visibility is, sorry, visibility is, I'll take it as protected just to understand the difference, and I'll take table reference. Now tell me, is it a work area like structure or internal table like structure? This attribute. I'm
Work
taking
area.
table reference. This acts as a work area like structure, can accept single record, right? Like to use internal table like structure, what we need to use? We need to use a table type here. Okay. How to define table type in the class without creating it in SC11? Go to types, go to types, define some name. For example, GATT underscore Mara. I'm taking this name. Visibility, public or protected. I'm taking public. Now click on here. Types. Now tell me. So this is the attribute which you defined in attribute section, right? Is this familiar for you or not? This syntax.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You know, right? Data. It is defining a variable like value, right? Whatever you defined in the attributes. Clear? Now create a table type. How to create a table type? Types
By using the
GATT
T
underscore Mara type
types standard table.
Standard.
standard table of Mara. Now this GATT will act as a table type. Activate this. Activate all the class related objects. So our types are activated. Go back. Your type is created here. Now use this table type to define attributes, importing parameters, exporting parameters of the method. Okay. You can also define attribute GAT. I'll take like this to identify this is a internal table like structure. I'll take public or protected and provide the table type name. Now this Mara will act as a internal table like structure. It can accept multiple records. Okay.
So underscore.
What is it? Underscore? What is it? Tell me. Tell me what is it?
GATT Mara.
Uh, yes. It is a table type, right? We just created in types.
Sir, GATT underscore.
Underscore Mara. We have underscore here, right? No, tell me what is your question.
So we have to GAT underscore T underscore Mara.
GATT. Okay, let's check what is the type we have created here. Go to types. What is the table type we created? This one only, right? See, that is just a naming convention. Okay, if you want to use underscore T, that's up to your choice. Like this, you want to use? for table types. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can also take like this. It's just naming convention. Delete the existing one, activate this. Okay, we need to fix that. We need to change the name here. Here, change the name. Okay, just a naming convention. You can follow. Yeah. Now we define the attributes. Go to methods. First, get material data. Instance method. Visibility is public. Now we just defined the method. How to implement the method? How to implement the method?
Double click.
Double click on
Double.
it.
Double click.
Double click on it to implement the method. Here we are not taking any importing parameters. Write some select statement. We are not using any where condition. I'll select up to some 10 rows. It will select first available 10 records.
10 record.
Some logic. I'm implementing some logic here. Let's activate this. I've implemented one method. Let me create one more method. Let's say it is an instance method. I'm taking it as private method. Implementing the method. Okay, no where condition. Or we'll do one thing. Just select up to one row. We'll see. Up to 10 rows. We have defined some attributes, right? We have defined some attributes, right? How to pass data to the
Yes, sir.
attribute? Initially, are they going to like is this attribute contain any data? No, right?
No.
No,
Initially,
sir.
these are empty. We need to pass the data. We need to pass the data. Go to methods and go to get material. So bar is equal to 0. Pass the data to attribute. Pass the data to attribute. For example, what is the attribute name? And make sure both are referring to the same structure. This attribute and this table data both are referring to the same structure. Here we are taking select star, right? That means entire Mara table. And what is the table type we have defined for GAT Mara? With reference to the Mara table only, right?
Yes, sir.
Now both are compatible so that we can pass like this. Okay. So we can pass data to the attributes within the methods, and you can use this attribute data wherever you are using, like in different methods. So attributes are global to all the methods. Clear? Clear? Now we have created two methods, and we did not create constructor method, right? So what is the name we can take for constructor method? We'll see how to
Class
use
name.
constructor also.
Class name is the constructor.
Constructor is the method name. So what is the use of constructor? When the constructor will be executed? Whenever you create the
Create
object.
object.
So
Object.
constructor method will automatically execute whenever you create the object. So what should be the name of constructor method? Constructor. You
Constructor.
cannot use any other name. Click on enter. So inheritance, constructor are different concepts, but I'm showing how to create constructor method. So whatever the default functionality should be executed, where we can place that?
In the
Constructor.
constructor.
In the
Constructor.
constructor method,
Constructor.
we can place that. For example, we can populate all the attributes in the constructor method, and we can use that attributes data in remaining methods. So if you see here, when we provide the name constructor, it is automatically created on constructor method.
Private.
You can observe the difference, right? I'm making it as public. Okay. Can we have like what are the parameters that constructor method accepts? Go to parameters. What is the type we can use? Can you see any other type here? Can you see any option to select the type like importing, exporting, changing? We don't have that option here. So why? Because constructor will accept only inputs, only importing parameters. Constructor cannot return any output. Okay. So whatever the parameters we can define in the constructor method are only what type of parameters?
Importing parameter.
Input.
Importing parameter.
No other parameters are possible. We can only pass the inputs. Now go to method, double click on it, implement the constructor method. Whatever the default functionality you want to execute, you can write here. For example, select single star from Mara into, we'll take that attribute. What is the attribute we have created? GAS underscore Mara, right? For structure, for single record,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
where matner equal to IV underscore matner. Okay. So I'm just passing some data to the attribute here in the constructor method. Activate this. You can write any logic, whatever the default logic you want to execute, you can write here. Okay. Go back. Now let's create a program first, and then we'll create the subclass. Let's define one parameter. What I'm doing here, let me keep a breakpoint in constructor method first. I'll keep a breakpoint here. So how to keep a breakpoints? This is one way. What is the other way? Break space
Break.
username. Okay. Now this breakpoint will execute only for the particular user. It won't execute for everyone if you write like this. But these breakpoints you can put only in development environment, because in test and production you cannot you cannot change the objects, you cannot change the code. Okay. Okay, just keep the breakpoint. Let me create the object lo underscore obj equal to new. What is the class name? Can we pass it like this? Can we create the object like this? Now tell me, do we have importing parameters for constructor method or not? We have one
Yes,
importing
sir.
parameter, right? Is it a
Yes, sir.
optional parameter or
Yes, sir.
mandatory parameter?
Mandatory
Mandatory
parameter.
parameter. So that we should pass this parameter in the object
Yes.
like this, equal to some value. For example, Matner. We have to pass that parameter in the object. Okay. When we have a constructor method in the class, we have to, whenever we are creating the object, we have to pass all the importing parameters, all the mandatory importing parameters. Okay. After that, let's call the method, call some method, pretty printer, instance name nothing but object name. What is the class name? This is the class name. Select the method. I'll call some method, get text or something. Okay. It contains no importing parameters and no exporting parameters. In some method, we are populating the attribute, right? We are populating the attribute, right? In which method? I think
Get
here,
materials.
get material. We'll call this method get material method. Instead of get material text, we call this. And once the method call is completed, can we access attribute data in program? Can we access the attribute data in program? Can we access attribute data in the program? lt underscore data equal to, what is our object name? Obj, arrow mark. What is our attribute name? gat underscore mara, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is our attribute name? Go to attributes, gat underscore mara. This is how we can access attribute data, whatever the data available in the attribute. But what are importing and exporting parameter? By using importing parameters, we can pass the inputs. By using exporting parameters, we can return the output, right? But how can we access the data available in the attributes of the method? Attributes of the class like this, using object reference and the attribute name. Okay. You guys are already know how to return the exporting parameter and display the output. Now I am showing you how to access the data from the attribute which is available in the attribute. Okay. Sorry, it's not IV Matner, LO object, right? Now activate this. Now observe carefully. I'm keeping a breakpoint at object creation. Execute. Select some material number, a valid material number. I'm using F4 help. I think it's taking too much time to display the F4. Go to S11 and find one valid material number. Mara. Display. We'll take some material number 26. I'll stop this transaction, stop this. Let me execute again. Whenever something is hang, right, just go to stop transaction. Okay, it will terminate that. 26, enter the material number and execute. Debugger is triggered. Debugger is triggered. Please observe here. Where are we now? In which statement we are at? We are at the object creation step, right? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Here we are passing material number as input. For which method? For which method we are passing this input?
Constructor method.
Constructor method. We are passing this importing parameter. F5, press F5. It is creating the object. So to which method it is navigated to? Constructor method. So constructor method is automatically called when we are creating the object. Yes. So whatever the functionality available in constructor method will automatically execute whenever we create the object. So we are populating this attribute with some records in the constructor method, right? Let me execute again. So creating the object, constructor method is called F7. It will come back to the calling program, and next we are calling the get material method F5. We are selecting some records. We are selecting some up to 10 records into LT Mara, and we are passing the data to which one? What is this GAT Mara?
Attributes.
Attribute.
Internal table attribute.
It's an attribute, but it's an internal table like structure. Okay, we generally call
Yes.
that as attribute. So we are passing the data to attribute. And how can we access attribute data? Like this: object name reference, and the attribute name. We can read the data into our local program data object, internal table or work area. F5. So we are able to read the data into internal table from the attribute and displaying it. Okay, clear? So how can you access the data of attribute? By using object name and the attribute name. For example, we are populating one attribute in ZDemo superclass, right? What is that attribute in this constructor? GAS Mara, right? How can you access that data? GAS Mara, data of some ls underscore Mara equal to what is that? LO underscore OBJ
OBC.
GAS underscore Mara. Like that, you can access the data of the attributes within the class. Okay, clear?
Okay, sir.
Is everyone able to understand the concept of constructors?
Yes, sir.
LOOBJ. Is there any spelling mistake? Maybe let me try here. Okay, it is protected. Okay, it is protected. That's why we are not able to access this attribute. Okay, so public attributes can be accessed by using like this.
Yes.
Since it is a protected attribute, we are not able to access that data in our program. That is the difference, right? Why we use access specifiers. So if you don't use, so if you are not using protected or public, anyone can access that attribute data, right? But if you are using protected or public, only the subclasses can access data of those attributes. Okay, since it is a protected attribute, we are not able to access. Is everyone clear about constructor and how to access attribute data?
Yes, sir.
Now let's go to the subclass, create one subclass, go to SC24, ZDemo, subclass 1. Create the subclass. We'll just provide some description. This is a subclass, right? Can we use final checkbox for subclass?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we can use.
Yes, if it is only single inheritance. If it is only single inheritance. What if it is multi-level inheritance? Now we have created class A and now we are creating class B, right?
Then disable it.
If we use final checkbox for class B, then we cannot inherit class B to class C, right? We cannot use it in the multi-level inheritance.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, save it. Now go to properties. You can see this superclass option here. Go to superclass and provide the superclass name here. Now go to methods, save it, save the class and go to methods. What are the methods you can see here?
Superclass methods.
Superclass methods, get material and constructor. Why only these two methods? Get material is a public method, constructor is also a public method.
Public method.
This is a private method, that's why we are not able to access get material. Okay,
Yes, sir.
we can access protected methods as well. Okay, public are protected. Let's go to attributes. What are the attributes we are able to access? GV Matner, GA, all three attributes. We are able to access protected attributes as well. Okay, in the subclass. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Go to methods. Just activate the class. Just activate the subclass. Now to execute these methods, do you need to write any code?
Yes, sir.
No, we can
No.
create the object. We can create the object for this subclass and we can call the methods.
Method.
If you double click on the method name, it will automatically take you to the superclass. So whatever the functionality available in superclass, we can execute in subclass level. Okay. But here in subclass, we can extend the method. We can add some additional functionality to the method. For that, we need to use an option called redefining.
Redefine.
We need to use redefining option. So we are like what we are doing here, without disturbing the superclass method, we are adding additional logic in the subclass level. That additional logic is specific to only this subclass.
Subclass.
Okay. Server is slow. So once you double click on this, it should take you to the superclass. Now it is automatically navigate to the superclass, right? Now you can create your own methods. You can create your own methods in a subclass, just like how you do it in a superclass. Okay. But how to redefine, how to extend the functionality of the superclass method? Place the cursor on the class and click on redefine method. What is that option? Redefine method. Click on this. So you can write your own logic here, or along with the standard logic, along with the superclass logic, you can add some additional logic. By default, it is commented. Enable this superclass functionality. How can you call superclass method in subclass? How can you call the superclass method in subclass? This is the syntax. Super. By using super, we can call the superclass methods in subclasses. Super and the method name. We don't have any importing parameters. That's why we are not providing any importing parameters. Okay. Now, along with the superclass functionality, you can add some additional functionality, whatever you want to write. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Select, I'm writing some logic. Mara, where where Matner equal to, let me try this, LO, what is our object name? GAS underscore Mara hyphen Matner. Let me try this. Use escape sign. What is this? GAS Mara
Attribute.
attribute, right? It's a attribute. Where are we populating this attribute? Where are we passing data to this attribute? The constructor method, right? So in the constructor method, we are executing some select statement and passing the data to GAS Mara attribute, and we are using that attribute data in this method to select some data. Okay, activate. Now go back. We have activated the method. Observe now, it is not highlighted in blue color because we redefined this method. Yes, double click,
Yes, sir.
double click. It won't take you to the superclass now because we redefined it. This is functionality of the superclass method, and this is our subclass own functionality. Along with using superclass functionality, we are using some additional functionality here. Or you can completely remove superclass functionality and you can add your own logic. In that case, there is no use of inheritance, right? If you want to write your own functionality, you can create a new method instead of redefining it, right? You can create your own methods here. Activate the subclass. Now create a program to call the subclass. Subclass executable. Save it. End of selection. Now define any parameter here or select option. You know how to pass the select option to the class method. Everyone clear, right? How to pass select option input to the class method.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We need to create type structure with with sign option low high and a table type. Sorry. Create the object for the method lo underscore objs equal to new. Do we need to pass any inputs? Do we
No,
need to
sir.
pass any inputs to the subclass object?
No, sir.
Why? Do we have constructor or not?
Constructor input we have to
We're
pass.
inheriting it
Cons-
from superclass, right? What are the parameters it contains? One parameter, matner. We need to pass the input. Matner equal to matner, right? And call the method whatever the method you want. So get material. Go to pattern, ABAP object patterns. Provide the instance name. Sorry, objs, and provide the class name and select the method. So this is our method call, and we don't have any importing and exporting parameters. That's why we are not able to access anything. And if you want to access the data from attributes, you know how to write that. Data of lt underscore mara equal to, usually we use exporting or changing parameters to return the output, right? So if you want to access the data from attributes, you can use this public attributes. This is how you can access the attribute data. But where we define this attribute, in subclass or superclass? These are available in superclass, but we are inheriting it to subclass so that we can use
Class.
same attributes in the subclass as well. Okay. Now let's debug this. Execute. Provide some material number. Now which class method we are calling? Superclass or subclass?
Subclass.
Subclass. F5. Now in which method we are in? Constructor method. Which like from where it is executing? From superclass, right? This constructor method
Yes, sir.
is executing from superclass. We are reusing the superclass constructor method in subclass. Okay. Now we are calling the method. We redefined it, right? We redefined the superclass method. This is the superclass method, and this is our own logic. Click on F5. If you click on F5, to which class it should go? Superclass.
Superclass.
It is superclass functionality. It is executed, populated data to attribute, and this is specific to the subclass. Okay, executed. We are copying the data from attribute to our local internal table and displaying it. Clear? How to use subclass and superclass? For example, you have redefined the method, right? Superclass method, right? How can you delete that redefinition? Or if you don't want to revert it, how can you do that? Place the cursor on the method, and somewhere here you have undo redefinition. It will revert back that redefinition. Click on that. So it will remove the logic what you have implemented in the subclass level by redefining it. Okay. No, I'm not saving it. So keep that it is redefining. Is everyone clear? So in the next class, we'll see multi-level and hierarchical. Okay. Why multiple is not possible? Go to properties. Can we enter multiple superclasses here? We have an option to enter only one superclass, right?
Yes, sir.
Even though they provided option to enter multiple superclasses, what will happen? If those two superclasses contains a method with same name, is it going to accept here? One more method with get
Yes.
material?
No.
No.
No, sir.
So that's why multiple inheritance is not possible. So we can achieve that by using which concept?
Interface.
Interface.
Interfaces.
Good
What
places.
is the interface?
Interface without
Contains
having
Without
methods
any.
implementing the
without
method.
any
Implementation.
implementation. Okay. Interfaces contains methods without any implementation. To implement the interfaces, what we need to do? Create a class and add the interfaces to the class here. You can go to interface section and add the interface here, and automatically you can see those interface methods here, and you can double click and implement the interface method. Okay. So usually interface methods contains only public visibility methods and attributes. Okay. Public, most of the all of the methods and attributes should be in public visibility in interfaces. Okay. Clear? All the interface names will starts with IF. For example, if you want to check any standard interfaces, so these are the standard interfaces available in the system. What is the starting name of the interfaces? Most of the interfaces name will start with IF.
IF.
These are the standard interfaces available. If you see this, there is one method available in the interface. Check the parameters, importing parameter. Go to attributes, no attribute. Check different. So this interface contains 4 methods. Okay. Check parameters. Contains only which parameters?
Changing.
Changing parameters.
Changing.
So interface contains only changing parameters. Okay. That is the difference between normal class methods and interface methods. Wherever you see, you can find only changing parameters. Okay. Clear? Okay, we'll discuss multi-level and hierarchical in the next class. And going forward, we should be using only object-oriented class methods to implement our code. That might be a report program, enhancements, conversions, whatever. Okay, so everyone should practice. Clear?